In this world, there exist profound truths that cannot be taught. They must be felt, revealing themselves only to those who are prepared to embrace them. If you find yourself here in this moment, it's not by chance. There is a purpose behind your attraction to these words. Deep inside, you have always sensed that you are different. Have you felt it? That subtle disconnection from others, even when surrounded by a crowd, that inner calling, a whisper urging you forward, often without a clear destination. Within you lies the awareness that your journey is unlike any other, a path that may not always resonate with those around you. This is because you hold something extraordinary that others may not. Divine energy, a spiritual imprint, a unique frequency that identifies you as chosen, even if it remains obscured to others. The world seldom speaks of this truth, and when it does, it often tries to convince you it's a weakness. In reality, it is your greatest strength. What's truly remarkable is that many who bear these marks navigate life unaware of their significance. They feel the distinctiveness but remain puzzled. They sense the pull yet cannot articulate it. Because of their unawareness, they miss the opportunity to unlock the profound power that awaits them. A power ignited when they finally recognize their true selves. But today, you can be the one to change your narrative. In this session, we will explore 3 profound spiritual marks that are distinctive to God's chosen ones. I will present them in a progressive manner, each mark building upon the last, ultimately revealing the 3rd and final mark, often concealed until the precise moment. For many, merely recognizing this last mark can catalyze a complete awakening, a divine remembrance of your original purpose for being here. So, if your heart is racing and your spirit feels awakened, comment 999 below. It serves as more than just a number. It's a confirmation that you are ready to receive what has always been destined for you. To those who have generously supported Chosen One Sanctuary, my sincere gratitude goes out to you. Your contributions allow messages like this to reach individuals in need right at the right time. You play an integral role in this mission, and your support is valued beyond measure. Now, I ask you, are you ready to uncover the reasons behind your feeling of being different? Are you ready to unveil the messages embedded in your feelings, to discover the signs that indicate you were chosen right from the beginning? Let us journey into the truth together. The first mark that you carry is patience. God's chosen ones bear these 3 spiritual marks. Do you recognize that you possess them as well? Let's delve into the 3rd spiritual mark held by God's chosen ones, a mark that often goes unrecognized but possesses immense power. You are gifted with the ability to sense situations and environments before anything becomes visible or can be logically explained. Have you ever entered a room and instinctively felt that something was amiss, even in silence, or had a strong premonition that something would happen, only to see it unfold moments later? These experiences are not mere coincidences. They are part of the divine discernment placed within you by God. This mark transcends mere intuition. It is an extraordinary awareness, a supernatural insight that reaches beyond the observable. You can detect spiritual atmospheres, perceive emotional undercurrents, and sense unvoiced truths well before they come to the surface. This ability isn't just another personality trait, it is a spiritual gift. The Apostle Paul spoke of this when he wrote, "The person with the Spirit makes judgments about all things, but such a person is not subject to merely human judgments." 1 Corinthians 2:15. This verse reminds us that those filled with the Spirit operate on a distinct frequency that discerns hidden realities. In Scripture, we clearly see this gift in the life of Elisha the prophet. In 2 Kings 6, God revealed to Elisha the plans of the enemy, allowing him to repeatedly warn the king of Israel. not because he observed them with his eyes, but because they were unveiled to his spirit. The king of Aram, frustrated and convinced he had a spy in his midst, was unaware of Elisha's ability to hear even the confidential words spoken in secret. Does that resonate with you? Have you ever known something without explanation, only to have it validated later? That is not happenstance. It is your calling. In contemporary times, those with high intuition can easily be misunderstood. Nikola Tesla, a groundbreaking inventor, once remarked, "My brain is only a receiver in the universe." This reflects a profound truth, one rooted in the divine. Tesla was celebrated for visualizing solutions to problems before documenting them. Although he was not a preacher, his insights tap into something profoundly spiritual, a connection to a knowledge that transcends this reality. So, if someone has ever described you as overly sensitive or prone to overthinking, consider a different perspective. What if your sensitivity is a sacred gift? What if God intentionally designed you this way to perceive what eludes others, to see what remains hidden, and to take action when others stand still? Could it be that this mark, your ability to sense the unseen, is not just a trait, but an essential tool for your purpose? You are not imagining things, you are discerning. This heightened awareness you embody as one of God's chosen ones is deeply connected to what many refer to as the informational field, a dimension that surpasses the physical realm. You may have felt it instinctively, a living force that subtly communicates truths before they manifest in the ordinary world. Everything created vibrates with energy. Every word, action, and emotion carries its own frequency. And because of the mark you bear, you are innately attuned to these frequencies. There's no need for anyone to articulate them to you. You simply know. Interestingly, modern science is beginning to align with this divine truth. Quantum physics proposes that the universe is not solely made of tangible matter, but is fundamentally about energy and possibilities, a realm that responds to conscious awareness. Some physicists now discuss the observer effect, where merely observing an outcome can actualize it. Could it be that your ability to perceive what is yet to occur influences what is destined to unfold? What if sensing the unseen is not just a gift, but an act of responsibility? In the scriptures, a vivid example of this sensitivity is found in Joseph the Dreamer. Long before events transpired on earth, Joseph perceived them within his spirit. Visions of elevation, favor, famine, and divine preparedness. His brothers misjudged him, viewing him as boastful or delusional, but in time, his discernment became a lifeline for both Egypt and his family. You, like Joseph, might be sensing realities that others cannot yet accept. But here's the conundrum. Living with such perception can often feel burdensome. When you reach out, you may be labeled as overreacting. When you endeavor to warn others, they might deem you dramatic or overly emotional. When you identify danger or deception prematurely, some can categorize you as suspicious or judgmental. It's challenging to be spiritually ahead of your time, yet that is where God has positioned you, on the forefront of awareness. Angelina Jolie, an actress and humanitarian, once said, "If you ask people what they've always wanted to do, most people haven't done it. That breaks my heart." She addresses a more profound disconnect between what people feel and what they act upon. You, however, chosen one, are different. You are not only sensing ahead of time, you have been called to act. So, the next time someone labels you as too much or too intense, pause for a moment and ponder this. What if you are not too much, but simply too early? What if your timing is not mistaken, but divinely orchestrated? What others dismiss as drama may simply be early insight. You are not overreacting. You are engaging with spiritual foresight. You are not arrogant. You are awakened. and this awakening is a mark of your divine identity. You were created not to conform to the world's rhythms, but to prepare for what lies ahead. This may involve recognizing the storm before anyone else can see the clear skies. The spiritual sensitivity you possess as one of God's chosen ones communicates not just through your spirit, but also through your physical being. You've likely felt this: a sudden chill in an otherwise warm space, a racing heartbeat in moments of calm, or an undeniable urge to separate from someone or someplace. These sensations are not random. They are divine signals, your spirit's way of conveying messages through your body. Your being, in its divine design, often knows before your mind catches up. This is spiritual intelligence woven into your very biology, functioning as a protective instinct. Consider how David likely felt approaching the battlefield to deliver provisions to his brothers, only to suddenly sense something was amiss. As he observed Goliath challenging the armies of the living God, what stirred within him was not dread, but a righteous fervor. That visceral response led him to spiritual clarity, preparing him for the triumph God had preordained for him. You might not be facing a physical antagonist like David, yet do not overlook the spiritual battles your body seeks to help you navigate. That unsettling feeling you get around certain individuals, that creeping sense of apprehension when entering a space, that sudden tightness in your chest when someone smiles, yet their spirit feels wrong. These sensations are more than just emotions. They are spiritual alarms. When you begin to honor them instead of dismissing them, a powerful transformation occurs. Throughout history, even outside the pages of the Bible, individuals have highlighted this bodily intuition. The revered poet and civil rights leader Maya Angelou once stated, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." Often, our bodies are attuned to what our minds try to rationalize away. The Holy Spirit can communicate through a shiver, a pause, or a racing heart. Are you attuned to this voice? It may feel uncomfortable at first. You might ask yourself, why am I so sensitive? Why can't I just go with the flow like everyone else? But consider this. What if this sensitivity is not a weakness, but a divine form of protection? What if every chill, every instinct to retreat, every surge of adrenaline is actually heaven's way of guiding you away from hidden snares? The moment you start to respect these internal signals, your journey begins to evolve. You will no longer act based only on outward appearances or societal opinions. You begin to navigate through discernment. You are no longer solely swayed by surface logic, but by divine intuition that is anchored in God's presence. This is where true change begins. You stop asking if something makes sense and start asking if the Spirit grants you peace. After all, you were not meant to live by sight alone. You were crafted to walk by faith. And sometimes that faith manifests as heeding what your body already knows your spirit is urging you to acknowledge. As one of God's chosen ones, this sensitivity you possess will not remain a fleeting feeling. Instead, it matures over time. It sharpens into something more profound, a guiding compass, a divine navigation system embedded in your spirit. The more you listen to it, the clearer it becomes. The more you trust it, the stronger it grows. And as it develops, it safeguards you from choices that would lead you away from your divine path. This inner compass is not influenced by fear, nor driven by logic. It is rooted in truth and aligned with your essence. You will start to recognize that certain decisions, even those that seem right on paper, just don't sit well with your soul. You feel a prompt in your spirit, a tug in your chest, or a soft voice whispering, "Not this way." Have you ever experienced a moment when everything appeared perfect on the outside, yet something deep within urged you to pause or walk away? This is the start of genuine spiritual growth. The Bible tells us in Isaiah 30:21, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, 'This is the way. Walk in it.'" That's the essence of a spiritually discerning compass. You begin to navigate not by sight, but by that holy guidance residing within you. You avoid relationships that drain your spirit. You sidestep opportunities that were never meant for you. You embrace God's timing, even when it means saying no to worldly urgency. This wisdom, the ability to feel before you see, is ageless. Solomon, famous for his wisdom, requested not wealth or revenge, but a discerning heart. In 1 Kings 3:9, he understood that discernment would protect him far more than any army or treasure ever could. That same divine insight is awakening within you. In today's world, many are rediscovering this profound truth. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple and a vanguard in technology, once encouraged in a commencement speech, "Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become." Although he may not have used spiritual terminology, his words resonate with the same fundamental principle. There is wisdom in what you feel before you fully comprehend it. So, what would transpire if you stopped silencing that inner prompting? What if, instead of dismissing it, you began valuing it as God's guiding voice in action? You'd start to live in alignment. You'd cease moving in circles and begin to walk in purpose. Perhaps most importantly, your struggles would lessen. Not because life becomes easy, but because you're no longer resisting the path laid out for you. This is indicative of those who are genuinely awake. You needn't await visible signs to discern what is right. You have been selected to carry ancient wisdom, a sensitivity that can shield you from sorrow and guide you toward destiny. Are you finally prepared to let this guidance lead you? As one of the chosen ones, when you possess this awareness, the ability to see what others cannot, you begin to live as if you can perceive the invisible, and in a way, you truly do. You're no longer solely dependent on physical sight. Instead, you're directed by something deeper, something sacred. You act according to what is sensed in the spirit before manifesting in the physical realm. Once you cease second-guessing this gift, once you stop viewing your spiritual discernment as mere coincidence or imagination, everything begins to align. Clarity emerges, direction flows, peace settles in, and yes, prosperity follows. Why? Because when you are in harmony with what God reveals to you beneath the surface, you stop walking blindly and start walking confidently. You're no longer chasing the worldly definition of success. You are pursuing divine alignment. As declared in Psalm 37:23, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way." When your spirit is in sync with his guidance, favor flows. Doors open, confusion dissipates. It's no surprise that the universe, God's creation, responds to those aligned with its rhythm. It's as if everything around you begins to shift to accommodate your unity with the truth. You find yourself in the right places at the right times. You sense danger before it arrives. You attract provision effortlessly. People often find themselves wondering, "How did you know? How did you move so wisely?" But it's not solely you. It's the divine mark upon you, directing you through what cannot be perceived with the physical eye. Yet, there exists another facet to this mark, a more subtle one. While you may feel you've been discreetly walking in this gift, there is a group that senses you even before you utter a word. They perceive your presence before you speak. They feel your energy before you introduce yourself. Have you ever entered a room and suddenly felt eyes on you? Not from curiosity, but from recognition. There is a spiritual weight to who you are. You needn't announce your identity. Your spirit proclaims it already. And it resonates not solely with the righteous. It also alarms those who dwell in darkness. Just as Jesus would often unsettle demonic spirits by merely showing up, so too do you carry an unseen authority that elicits a reaction. In Luke 4:34, a man possessed by an unclean spirit exclaimed, "Go away! What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us?" Not due to Jesus' words, but because his very presence illuminated what was hidden. In the same vein, your essence carries truth, and truth is often confrontational. This is why some individuals may feel uneasy around you, even if you've given them no reason for discomfort. It's possible that your light is exposing something they prefer to keep concealed. It may even remind them of matters they haven't yet confronted. This phenomenon exists even in the realms of leadership and fame. Robin Williams, the late actor and comedian cherished for his joyful performances, once shared in a rare moment of depth, "Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always." That kind of unseen struggle, felt, not expressed, is something you recognize in others. You sense the pain behind their smiles. You see the truth beneath their performances. And this spiritual depth distinguishes you. So, don't be surprised if people perceive you even before you speak. Don't be disheartened if your presence alters the atmosphere. It's not arrogance, it's anointing. Those who acknowledge it, whether friends or adversaries, are simply responding to God's imprint on you. You were never intended to blend in. You were designed to carry this divine light. And as you begin to grasp this truth, can you feel the shift happening around you? Now, let's explore the second significant mark carried by many of God's chosen ones. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, but it reveals something remarkable. Have you noticed that children and animals react to you differently? How a child, even one you've never met, looks at you intently or reaches out their hand without hesitation. Or how a dog or cat settles beside you as if pulled by an unseen force. These instances are not mere coincidences, they are spiritual affirmations, evidence from creation that you embody a divine presence that cannot be concealed. You might not have contemplated it before. Perhaps it seemed like children simply liked you, or that animals were being friendly, but in reality, these innocent beings respond to something deeper within you, a spiritual frequency that cannot be feigned or forced. Unlike adults, they do not judge based on appearances or social cues. They are driven by instinct. They recognize truth without needing proof. The Bible illustrates this kind of purity in the way God utilizes even the smallest and most innocent among us to discern what adults often overlook. In Matthew 21:16, Jesus references Scripture saying, "From the lips of children and infants you, Lord, have called forth your praise." Children are naturally attuned to the spiritual realm in ways we frequently overlook as we mature. This is why they are so irresistibly drawn to someone who carries heaven's light within them. Could it be that the purity within them resonates with the purity within you? Consider Jesus himself as an example. During his time on earth, children were magnetically attracted to him. In Matthew 19:14, he said, "Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Why do you think they rushed toward him instead of retreating? Because his presence was a sanctuary. His spirit emanated love. His energy was untainted and serene. Throughout Scripture, even animals are vessels for divine messages. Recall when the prophet Balaam's donkey spoke to him in Numbers 22:28? That was not merely a miracle, it delivered a lesson. Animals possess a level of spiritual awareness that often goes unnoticed. They can feel tension, sense danger, and recognize tranquility. Thus, when animals instinctively draw close to you, resting at your feet or sauntering alongside as if you are lifelong companions, It signifies they have perceived something spiritual. Your very essence creates an atmosphere of safety. This truth resonates in our everyday lives. Jane Goodall, the acclaimed primatologist who dedicated her life to studying chimpanzees in their natural habitat, once stated, "Only if we understand can we care. Only if we care will we help. Only if we help shall all be saved." She frequently observed that animals reacted differently to various people based on their energy and intentions. They could discern who was trustworthy. Similarly, you radiate a quality that cannot be taught. It is intrinsic. Next time a child's gaze meets yours in a crowded place, or a stray dog walks beside you as if you've known each other forever, don't brush it off. Reflect on what they might be sensing in you that remains unacknowledged within yourself. Could it be that the light you carry shines more brightly to the innocent-hearted than you might realize? Your silence communicates, your presence mends, your energy pacifies. There's no need to announce your identity. Those in tune with truth, even the smallest among us, will always recognize it. This acknowledgement is one of the clearest affirmations. You have been chosen, and the mark upon you is unmistakable. While many people depend on what they can see or hear to assess others, those still connected to spiritual naivety, like children and animals, perceive with their hearts. They aren't scrutinizing your clothing, your language, or your social status. They're attuned to something much deeper, your energy, your essence. When they approach without hesitation or show affection for no obvious motive, it isn't merely a matter of fondness, it is recognition. They feel at ease in your presence. Your spirit delivers a silent but compelling message. You are safe here. This response occurs for one profound reason. You are living in alignment with your higher self, the part of you that reflects God's image without distortion. That alignment produces a clear and harmonious frequency, a spiritual vibration that is coherent, authentic, and healing. When that essence encounters a being still untouched by ego, pride, or societal conditioning, the recognition is instant. There's no need for words, no need for explanations. You carry a light that speaks directly to the heart. This is what it means to walk in divine alignment. It explains why children, who may barely speak, or animals that don't even know your name, naturally flock toward you. It's not about rationality, it's about spiritual resonance. In John 10:27, Jesus said, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." This goes beyond auditory recognition. It encompasses acknowledging the divine voice in others. When a child reaches out to you, or an animal finds comfort at your feet, it's because they have heard that silent voice within you, the one that reflects the heart of God. The prophet Samuel was just a boy when he first heard God's voice in 1 Samuel 3. At first, he did not recognize it, but his innocence enabled him to hear what older priests had forgotten to listen for. Similarly, children and animals may not fully grasp what they are sensing around you, but their spirits instinctively respond to the light within you. Even in today's world, this phenomenon is quietly acknowledged. Fred Rogers, the beloved creator of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, profoundly understood how energy influences others, especially children. He remarked, "When we can be present to the moment with the person that we happen to be with, that's what's important." He recognized that true, peaceful, authentic presence holds the power to heal, to comfort, and to foster trust, all without uttering a single word. That is the kind of presence you channel. So consider, what does your presence whisper to those nearby? Is it saying, "You are safe, you are loved, you are seen"? Unbeknownst to you, those too innocent or unconditioned to don masks are already reacting to you, not because of your actions, but because of your essence and what you embody. This mark, the ability to attract the innocent, the pure-hearted, the unguarded, is anything but trivial. It is sacred, a confirmation that you are in communion with something greater, something eternal. You carry a living spark, a divine connection that resonates with all. The purest among us can see it, sense it, and follow it without hesitation. What you possess dives deeper than mere charm. This isn't about superficial charisma or magnetism that can be rehearsed or faked. Charisma can be an act, but as one of God's chosen, you embody something holy that cannot be mimicked or manufactured. You exude a spiritual frequency, a divine resonance that flows effortlessly from a soul in alignment with wholeness, truth, and purpose. This essence isn't an outfit you wear. It is the very core of your being. It resonates with the understanding that true abundance springs not from the pursuit of status or external success, but from being whole, connected to God, and at peace with yourself. Have you ever considered why people either gravitate towards you or withdraw without explanation? There's something about your presence that resonates deeply within others' souls. It's not due to boisterous speech or attempting to impress. It's because your spirit radiates healing and awakening. Your presence transforms into a refuge for those who are in search, even if they themselves are not yet aware of what they seek. In the Bible, we see this same mysterious effect in Jesus' life. In Mark 5, a woman suffering for 12 years found healing by merely touching his cloak. Not because Jesus spoke, but because power emanated from him. What if your frequency, your alignment with the Holy Spirit, impacts others similarly? Could it be that people feel a shift within themselves simply by being in your vicinity? Some may perceive you as peculiar or even unsettling, and they may lack the words to explain why. Others will immediately feel safe and open in your presence. Why do such contrasting reactions occur? Because your spiritual frequency serves as a mirror, reflecting what is harmonious and what is misaligned within others' hearts. This mirroring effect can evoke both comfort and discomfort, depending on how ready someone is to confront their own truth. As you evolve in awareness, wisdom, and connection with God, this quiet yet transformative influence only strengthens. You begin to enter spaces and shift atmospheres without uttering a word. You awaken potential long dormant within people. You stir their conscience. Your very being reveals truth. Consider Mother Teresa. She was not defined by worldly standards of glamour. Yet, people gravitated toward her simply by being in her presence. She once stated, "Peace begins with a smile." Her aura radiated divine love because she aligned her life with God's purpose for her. Isn't it plausible that you share a similar essence, that your spiritual signature is not merely noticeable, but deeply needed in today's world? So, ask yourself, what happens to people when you walk into the room? What do they feel beyond merely what they see? Perhaps you have yet to fully comprehend that you carry a spiritual mark, an anointing that resonates louder than words could ever convey. Never undervalue the divine force woven into your presence. As one of God's chosen, what emanates from you is more than just a mood or personality trait. It is a spiritual energy. You may navigate through life quietly, seeking no attention or validation. Yet your energy infiltrates unseen realms, touching parts of people's souls they may not even be aware exist. Your presence holds the power to penetrate spiritual dimensions, to illuminate spaces shrouded in unspoken suffering, and to awaken hearts that have become numb to truth. Have you noticed how, without uttering a word, your very essence alters environments? There's something sacred about how your spirit communicates. When a child gazes at you with a smile for reasons unknown, or when an animal that is typically more attuned to spiritual purity lies beside you as if you are home, It transcends a mere pleasant encounter. It is a spiritual affirmation, a gentle validation from the universe and from God Himself that you are aligned with your true calling. Your energy is already speaking for you, with a voice louder than any introduction could hope to achieve. This echoes the story of Daniel in the Old Testament. Even in a foreign land, surrounded by others who didn't share his beliefs or values, Daniel's presence distinguished him. Kings sought his wisdom. He carried an excellent spirit, Daniel 6:3, that made him naturally stand out without effort. Is it possible that your life radiates that same kind of quiet excellence? Could it be that others feel compelled to trust you or even confess their truths to you without understanding why? You may not have consciously acknowledged it, but your spirit leaves an impression wherever you go. It's not forced or manipulated, it simply is. It's not something you can measure. It's pure, authentic alignment. Many spend their lives in pursuit of this resonance, yet you already possess it. Your spirit is intertwined with something greater, something everlasting. Viola Davis, the actress who has candidly shared her spiritual journey and her triumph over trauma, once expressed, "You can't be hesitant about who you are." Her strength did not stem from a loud voice, but from being firmly rooted in the essence of who God designed her to be. Similarly, your calm, centered energy resonates profoundly, often speaking volumes even before your lips part. If you've ever sensed that invisible connection, where people are inexplicably attracted to your presence, take a moment to appreciate what that truly signifies. You may feel compelled to share in the comments, "My energy speaks before my words." This is not merely a statement, it's a revelation. It's proof of one of the truest spiritual signatures a chosen one can carry, the ability to reflect God's light through existence, not solely through action. But there's more to unravel. While this first mark influences how others perceive you and react to your presence, the next one delves deeper. It's not focused on the world that surrounds you, but rather on the profound transformation occurring within you. Are you prepared to explore the spiritual power that resides within your own mind? We now arrive at the utmost mark of all, the one that holds the top position on this list. Perhaps, without even cognizance, you have carried this with you your entire life. As one of God's chosen, you may have identified a mysterious pattern. Your thoughts often manifest into reality, not just occasionally, and not just by mere luck or happenstance, but consistently and with impressive accuracy. This is beyond coincidence. It's the manifestation of divine alignment, a spiritual gift that few genuinely understand, yet you've been living it unfailingly. What you possess is far from superficial wishing or daydreaming. It dives much deeper than surface-level affirmations or hoping for fortuitous circumstances. You have a mind that is intricately attuned to the very fabric of creation. Your focused thoughts do not merely disperse into the void. They activate and synchronize with unseen forces, unlocking doors and orchestrating events in manners that defy explanation. When you envision something with intention, it's as if heaven itself inclines to respond. Have you ever found yourself thinking of a person, and moments later, they reach out to you? Or perhaps you visualized a specific outcome, only to watch it unfold nearly exactly as you imagined it. Have you ever pondered why this phenomenon occurs for you more than for others? This isn't just luck, it's not a magic trick, and it certainly isn't a result of ritualistic adherence or formulaic practices. What you're experiencing is a law of consciousness embedded within the soul of someone chosen for a higher purpose. In Romans 12:2, Paul instructs believers, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Why? Because the mind is the seat of transformation. When your thoughts align with God's will, they wield creative power. Reflect on Elijah, who prayed fervently for rain after a prolonged drought. His unwavering faith conjured a small cloud that burgeoned into a torrential downpour. 1 Kings 18. His thoughts resonated with divine declarations, not empty hopes. This unique spiritual mark you possess is rare and often misconstrued. Some may envy it or regard it as odd, but the truth remains. You've tapped into a divine reality that few dare to acknowledge. That thought, backed by faith, when combined with clarity and alignment, transforms into a formidable creative force in the world. Unlike superstition or transient law of attraction trends, this does not hinge on religion, rituals, or mere chance. It's a divine principle woven into the very nature of consciousness by God Himself. When you align with His purpose, your thoughts hold weight in both the spiritual and physical realms. Consider Steve Harvey, a man who transitioned from homelessness to global success. Before fame, he penned a vision on a piece of paper about appearing on television. He kept voicing it, visualizing it, believing fervently. Today, his life stands as evidence that focused thought merged with unwavering faith can yield extraordinary transformations. And he is not an isolated case. You, too, carry this mark. How often have your focused thoughts turned into tangible experiences? Have you brushed them off as mere coincidences, or have you begun to recognize the extraordinary power within your mind? Now may be the moment to wholeheartedly accept that this ability is not arbitrary, it's intentional. It serves as a divine indicator of your profound connection to the spiritual currents that sculpt the world around us. Have you ever experienced a moment where an intensely focused thought, perhaps even obsessively concentrated, seemed to appear within days? Perhaps you fixated on a certain individual, an opportunity, or a dilemma, and eventually that very occurrence manifested in your life. Initially, it might have felt eerie, perhaps even disconcerting. You may have dismissed it as random chance, yet deep down, something whispered that it couldn't be just coincidence. This was no accident. It was your spiritual power operating in real time. As a chosen one of God, your thoughts are integral. They are not idle musings. They aren't mere private dialogues, but signals transmitted into the invisible realm of possibilities. That divine field, created by God, responds to your inner impulses. You are not merely thinking, you are creating. Every thought, when charged with emotion and clarity, serves as a spiritual decree, generating ripples that traverse the atmosphere, eventually crystallizing various potentials into reality. Does this clarify why your life so frequently reflects the very things you fixate on, both positive and negative? This is not a contemporary spiritual insight, but rather a doctrine deeply entrenched in biblical truth. Proverbs 23:7 reaffirms, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." What resides persistently in your inner being will inevitably shape your outer world. That's why your thoughts carry such weight. It also explains why Jesus often emphasized the heart and mind when bringing healing to others. He recognized that the true conflict transcended mere physical existence, venturing instead into spiritual and mental realms. This mark you bear is invisible to the naked eye. It does not manifest through your voice or physical presence. Rather, it finds its essence in the manner your mind interacts with reality. You do not merely react to life, you influence it. Your thoughts emit energy. When laced with emotion and clarity, they attract circumstances, individuals, and outcomes that resonate on the same frequency. However, this profound ability comes with profound responsibility. Just as your focused thoughts can invite blessings, they can just as easily draw burdens. Your mental atmosphere is fertile ground, and whatever seeds you plant, be they hope or fear, tranquility or anxiety, will eventually flourish. Have you ever noted how fixating on worst-case scenarios tends to exacerbate chaos, while concentrating on solutions opens doors to unexpected possibilities? Reflect on Joseph from Genesis. Betrayed by his brothers and unjustly imprisoned, he chose not to allow bitterness and despair to dominate his thoughts. Instead, he held on to the vision God bestowed upon him. Despite the adversity, Joseph's faith-driven thoughts sculpted his reality, ultimately propelling him to a position of power in Egypt. Genesis 41. Would that transformation have been feasible if Joseph had surrendered his mental energy to fear and resentment? In contemporary times, think of Jim Carrey, the actor and comedian who crafted a check for $10 million long before he reached that financial pinnacle. He harbored that vision within his heart, and years later, it became his lived reality. His narrative might appear extraordinary, yet it serves as a modern echo of an ancient truth. What you dwell upon with persistence ultimately becomes your lived experience. This is why this mark should not be taken lightly. You possess the capacity to mold your world, not through forcefulness, but through the inner architecture of your mind. So, ponder for a moment. What have your thoughts been focused on recently? What concepts have you reiterated with such emotional intensity? You might already be treading paths built from the answers you unconsciously summoned. Most people navigate life in a state of unawareness regarding the power embedded in them. They attribute their triumphs to luck or coincidence while rationalizing their failures as unfortunate incidents. But you, one of God's chosen ones, have begun to grasp a profound truth. You understand that existence is not merely sculpted by chance, but intentionality. You've witnessed too much to cling to beliefs of randomness. You've come to realize that your mind transcends being just a cognitive tool. It serves as a sacred bridge between the unseen and the seen, a conduit through which invisible truths manifest into tangible experiences. When you carry this spiritual mark, your thoughts no longer seem void of power. They become vibrant seeds, energized by faith and focus. As your awareness of this divine process deepens, your ability to co-create with God flourishes. You transition from merely reacting to life to actively shaping it with spiritual accuracy. Have you started to notice how your inner world is reflected in the events that transpire in your outer reality? That phenomenon is not random. It is the mind aligning with divine purpose. Jesus articulated this notion in Matthew 9:29, saying, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." He did not say, according to luck or effort or status. He pointed to faith, which begins as a thought grounded in trust and clarity. The power to sculpt reality has always been present. The distinction lies in your conscious choice to acknowledge it. This is what true prosperity embodies. Not merely material wealth or worldly achievement, but the profound understanding that creation is not a privilege, but your inherent nature. You were created in the likeness of the Creator, as stated in Genesis 1:27. This means you possess a divine, creative power within you. You don't merely have the right to dream, you hold the authority to manifest those dreams into reality when they align with truth and divine purpose. The more you embrace this insight, the more you begin to dwell in a space of creative awareness. You start to notice the patterns in your thoughts. You grow alert to the echoes of images that come to you time and again, uninvited yet persistent. Rather than dismissing them, you begin to listen. Could these recurring desires be spiritual blueprints, awaiting activation by your focus, belief, and action? A vivid illustration of this principle is found in the journey of actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry. Emerging from hardship and struggle, he began writing stories as a means of healing. He famously remarked, "I didn't know I was planting seeds for my future." And what he wrote transpired into reality. Today, he stands as the owner of a prominent film studio. Yet, his journey was never simply about chance. It was about steadfastly clinging to his vision, even when others could not see it. So take a moment to ponder. What thoughts persistently show up in your spirit? What desires keep calling to you like soft whispers, no matter how often you try to push them away? These are not mere distractions, they are seeds vibrating towards realization, urging you to recognize your own creative authority. The pivotal question remains: will you continue to disregard them, or will you acknowledge them as integral to the destiny God has inscribed on your heart? This awakening shifts your entire mental framework. You cease to drift through life, allowing random thoughts to rule your mind. You begin to understand that your thoughts are powerful tools, not transient noise. As one of God's chosen ones, this awakening calls you to accept responsibility for the reality you are crafting. Because whether you are aware of it or not, creation is an ongoing act. Without wisdom, this divine power can be mismanaged. To create without consciousness is akin to surrendering control of your ship to the waves and hoping you'll reach your destination. Can you afford to navigate life on mental autopilot? The reality is, your thoughts are more than mere reflections. They are prayers set in motion. Every mental vision, every inner dialogue, every recurring worry or hope represents a kind of spiritual request. Whether you consciously intend it or not, your thoughts ask, shape, and construct. This occurs whether you are aware of it or not. Thus, this divine mark you carry is immensely powerful. It beckons intentionality. It encourages you to be deeply aware of your inner landscape. Because whatever you consciously nourish within your mind begins to flourish, and once it becomes robust enough, it seeks a pathway into the tangible world. Scripture supports this notion in Philippians 4:8, where Paul encourages believers to meditate only on things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. Why this precise directive? Because divine wisdom understands the mind to be fertile ground. Whatever is nurtured there, be it fear or faith, doubt or vision, will eventually bear fruit. Are you planting with care, or allowing weeds to grow unchecked? Reflect on David before his kingship. Long before he wore a crown, he cultivated his mind in the fields, meditating on God's word and fostering a consciousness of triumph. So, when he confronted Goliath, his thoughts were not steeped in fear, but filled with assurance. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine, as noted in 1 Samuel 17:37. That victory was birthed in his mind long before it manifested in the battlefield. Do you perceive a similar thread in your own life? Have you observed how your most frequently entertained thoughts begin to manifest in both small and significant ways? An idea you've nurtured, almost like a quiet prayer, abruptly transforms into a conversation, then an opportunity, finally culminating in a breakthrough. These instances are no coincidence. This is the law of sowing and reaping operating within your consciousness. The late Dr. Wayne Dyer, a renowned author and speaker, once shared, "You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are." In other words, your outer circumstances reflect your inner state. As someone marked by divine purpose, you cannot afford to leave this inner state to chance. So let me ask you, what are you mentally nurturing? What images replay themselves in your mind daily? Because what you consistently focus on is being constructed, brick by invisible brick, into the very structure of your future. Your thoughts are not fleeting clouds. They are seeds and blueprints. And when nurtured with repetition, emotion, and intent, they find a way to manifest into your reality. Will you permit your mind to be steered by fear, distractions, or negativity? Or will you rise into the spiritual responsibility that accompanies this mark, thinking, creating, and building in alignment with God's higher plan for your life? The mind of a chosen one is extraordinary. It serves as a spiritual portal, a sacred gateway between the seen and the unseen. Like all portals, it does not judge what enters. It merely responds to the energy, intention, and frequency you project. This means that what you focus on, what you dwell upon, what you regularly visualize will pass through this portal and start to take form in your world. This is not mere abstraction for you, it's incredibly personal. If you carry this mark, your spiritual journey has already begun to shift into a more elevated dimension. Have you sensed it? You are not merely here to observe, to endure, or to passively comprehend what occurs around you. You are here to shape it. Your role has transformed. You are no longer just a seeker. You are becoming a co-creator with God. This is where true enlightenment begins. Not simply in asking for signs or searching for answers, but in recognizing you are an active participant in divine creation. Have you transitioned from merely asking to co-creating? Have you discerned how life seems to align itself with your intentions when you are fully attuned with purpose, clarity, and truth? That's not fantasy. That's an indication you've entered a new dimension of your calling. Your mind is no longer simply a receiver, it is a portal of divine expression. With each thought, you shape the very world around you. With every act of faith, you bring heaven closer to earth. And through each decision to align with love, wisdom, and vision, you contribute to fulfilling the divine mission God placed in your heart long before you were born. You may not completely understand how this works just yet, but there's one thing you can know for certain. The universe created by God responds to the energy you perpetually emit. As one of God's chosen ones, your vibration, the emotional and spiritual frequency you inhabit, carries an influence far greater than you may realize. What you radiate, whether consciously or unconsciously, becomes your signal to both heaven and earth. This signal attracts outcomes, relationships, and opportunities that harmonize with its frequency. Have you noticed how particular patterns seem to repeat within your life whenever your inner landscape shifts? That's not just coincidence. It's alignment in action. When you carry this sacred mark, thoughtlessness is no longer an option. You must learn to select your thoughts with wisdom, faith, and intention. Few responsibilities parallel the gravity of this. The ability to influence reality simply by existing in harmony with your divinely ordained essence. Many people are unaware they are continuously shaping their world through their inner dialogue. But you are called to live consciously, to think with purpose and to create with reverence. This principle is echoed in Proverbs 4:23, which advises, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." The heart and mind are intricately intertwined. What you dwell upon within will eventually manifest outside. That's why your thoughts must not be treated lightly. Your inner life is not a private domain. It is a spiritual command center broadcasting frequencies that will structure the framework of your future. This is what renders this particular mark the power of mental alignment, the most transformative of all. It doesn't merely alter how people respond to you. It reshapes how reality interacts with you. When your thoughts are aligned with your divine identity, when your mind reflects truth, faith, and clarity, your entire world starts to evolve in response. So, remember to subscribe to Chosen One's Sanctuary and stay connected to this journey of understanding and enlightenment as we explore the profound power of our thoughts together. Imagine a figure like Nelson Mandela, a man who endured 27 long years in prison yet never allowed resentment to take root in his heart. Rather, he nurtured a vision of forgiveness, leadership, and unwavering purpose. When he emerged from confinement, the world around him began to reflect the reality he had steadfastly embraced within. You, too, are being summoned to that same level of inner mastery. The more consistently you align yourself with truth, serenity, and divine purpose, the more authentically your life transforms from mere happenstance into a grand expression of a chosen vibration. Now that you've encountered the 3 spiritual marks, your healing frequency, the gift of inner manifestation, and your mind's creative alignment, you might be contemplating what comes next. What does this signify for your journey ahead? Recognizing these marks is merely the starting point. The true metamorphosis begins when you cease viewing these as mere traits and start embracing them as divine assignments. You were given these gifts for a purpose, a sign of a deeper calling that demands more from you but rewards you with clarity, purpose, and impactful influence. These marks are not mere adornments of your spirit, they are invitations. Each mark serves as an entryway to your next elevation, and it is your choice to step through. Herein lies a profound truth. As your awareness of self heightens, so too may the resistance you encounter. Why is that? Because the adversary does not challenge what poses no threat to him. The moment you begin to live with intention, shaping your reality through your vibration, manifesting God's vision through your mind, and healing others through your presence, darkness takes note. That's why those who are chosen often find themselves misunderstood, attacked, or isolated. Do not allow this to dissuade you. Instead, let it affirm what heaven already knows about you. As it states in Isaiah 61, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This rising process is not always seamless. It often requires the shedding of old patterns, the adoption of elevated thoughts, and a trust in the spirit that surpasses what your senses perceive. But this is precisely where the chosen ones discover growth. You are being called to exist from a higher frequency, one in which you don't merely react to life but command it through divine alignment. Do you sense it? That shift within you? That inner tug urging you to rise, to no longer conceal or doubt your gifts? You were never intended to blend in. Your frequency is meant to awaken others. Your thoughts are designed to rewrite atmospheres. Your journey is sacred. So, how will you utilize these marks? Will you bury them under fear, or will you multiply them through faith? Much like the faithful servant in Matthew 25 who didn't hide his talents but invested them, returning even more to his master. Imagine what could unfold if you sincerely embraced who you are. Living with these spiritual marks is both a blessing and a burden. It distinguishes you, yet it invites pressures that others may never fully understand. As you carry this spiritual weight, you might often feel as though you traverse an invisible path before the onlookers around you. You may question why you face more attacks, more tests, or deeper misunderstandings when all you strive to do is live in truth. But that very struggle is what sets you apart. You are not just living for yourself. You are a beacon of light in dark places. As stated in Luke 12:48, "To whom much is given, much will be required." You have been entrusted with the ability to heal through your presence, to create through thought, and to influence reality through divine resonance. Yet these gifts call for awareness, discipline, and spiritual maturity. Have you noticed how swiftly your thoughts create consequences now? How your energy subtly shifts a room, drawing some people in while repelling others? These observations are affirmations that your light can no longer remain neutral. And here's the beauty of it. As you delve deeper into alignment, God doesn't leave you bereft. With the weight of your calling, divine support accompanies you. Resources surface. Insights are imparted to your spirit. The right individuals gravitate toward you. You'll come to see that you're being carried by grace even amidst life's tempests. Just as Joseph ascended from the pit to the palace, your tribulations are not punishments, they are preparations. Each delay has honed your discernment. Each betrayal has clarified your intentions. Every shut door was an orchestrated setup for something immeasurably greater. Yet, the pivotal question remains: will you stay faithful even when no applause echoes? Will you continue creating even if unseen? Will you unwaveringly emit truth even when surrounded by noise and doubt? Such moments are when the chosen ones become refined. Not amidst the spotlight, but in the silence. Not on the mountaintop, but within the cave. Much like Elijah learned to hear God not in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a still, small voice. 1 Kings 19:12. Can you also trust that voice in your life? That whisper urging you forward, even when it defies logic? You are not ordinary. You never have been. And these 3 marks do not merely signify spiritual traits. They resonate as heaven's fingerprints upon your soul, affirming that you were created for something profoundly higher. Each challenge you faced has been allowed to illuminate your potential rather than to destroy you. Now, you're called to rise, not in noise, but through knowing. Not in fear, but with focused presence. So how do you integrate these 3 marks into your life? This healing frequency, this creative mindset, this divine vibrational essence that speaks before you even voice it. The truth is, it isn't about doing more. It's about becoming increasingly aware of who you genuinely are. From that awareness, you start to shift how you think, communicate, and navigate through the world. First and foremost, guard your thoughts like a sacred garden. Not every idea merits your energy. Not every fear deserves your attention. Become a vigilant gatekeeper of your mind, sifting each thought through the lens of truth. 2 Corinthians 10:5 encourages us to bring every thought captive to make it obedient to Christ. Why? Because thoughts are not passive, they are seeds. The ones you nurture will take root in your reality. Ask yourself daily, is this thought nurturing my spirit or draining it? Is it aligned with who God says I am, or does it lead me away from that truth? The deeper your awareness, the more intentional your inner world becomes, subsequently reflecting in your outer world. Next, safeguard your spiritual energy. Not everyone is meant to access your frequency. As your light brightens, you'll discover that some individuals may attempt to dim your shine out of fear, envy, or mere confusion. This is why even Jesus often sought solitude in lonely places to pray. Luke 5:16. If the Son of God required moments of retreat to recharge, you do too. Create space for silence. Set aside time for stillness. Your power is sharpened in rest, not just through action. Above all, remain connected to the source, to the God who instilled these marks within you. This journey isn't about self-directed manifestation. It's about spirit-guided creation. As you co-create with God, your life becomes not only effective, but eternal in its magnitude. You begin to magnetize divine timing, becoming an instrument through which heaven manifests. Your ideas carry purpose. Your actions ripple through generations. Consider someone like Martin Luther King Jr., a man whose voice altered the course of history, not because he was the loudest, but because he was spiritually aligned. His thoughts, words, and actions flowed from a deep well of prayer, vision, and conviction. He didn't merely respond to the world, he reshaped it. That same spiritual current flows through you. So now, dear chosen one, you stand at a crossroads. Will you dwell in distraction or rise into destiny? Will you ignore your marks or step fully into their significance? You don't need anyone's approval to become what you inherently are. You were never created merely to endure. You were destined to transform your surroundings. And the time to initiate this transformation is now. Carrying these 3 spiritual marks today represents more than a blessing. It is a divine calling. In a world inundated with distraction, noise, and illusion, you have been set apart to be different. Your presence isn't meant to conform, it's intended to disrupt the patterns of darkness with your quiet light, to unveil falsehood by living in alignment with truth. This is your mission, one that few can truly accomplish. However, this mission will often remain subtle. It isn't about delivering sermons on stages or performing miracles for applause. Your true impact frequently manifests invisibly to the eye, but resonates undeniably in effect. You can transform environments with your quietude. You can shift energies in spaces without uttering a single word. You awaken the dormant merely by walking in full awareness of your identity. Have you noticed how some individuals instantly confide in you, disclosing secrets they've never shared with anyone? Or how others seem uneasy in your presence, even though you've done nothing wrong? This phenomenon occurs because you carry a spiritual mirror. Your light illuminates the truths within others, regardless of their readiness to confront them. Jesus declared in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." And that is the essence of who you are. But comprehend this: the light isn't always welcomed. It can sometimes face rejection. Even Jesus experienced rejection in his homeland, Luke 4:24. So, do not be taken aback when your truth evokes resistance. That aspect is intrinsic to the calling. In today's world, where validation is often sought through followers, trends, and titles, your path diverges. You are called to lead with spirit rather than ego. Your strength arises from obedience to the invisible, not from pursuing what is popular. So, embrace your role, beloved chosen ones. Engage with Chosen One Sanctuary to further explore and expand these insights in your life. Together, let us walk in illuminating truth, fully being who we were destined to be. You may not always be fully grasped, but the way you make others feel cherished, acknowledged, and spiritually ignited will forever leave an impression. That's what legacy is about. That's leadership. While others search the world for answers, you have been destined to bring forth answers from the kingdom deep within you. In a time when many seek stability, you are entrusted with a peace that transcends understanding. Philippians 4:7. You are a living sanctuary, a testament that God continuously embeds His presence within people. But here's the pivotal question: will you wholeheartedly embrace this calling? Will you step out of your comfort zone and fully into your mission? The world doesn't require more noise. It seeks those who intentionally carry the light. Consider the prophet Esther, who was told, "Perhaps you were born for such a time as this." Esther 4:14. That moment wasn't just for her, it's yours as well. You were destined not to retreat from darkness, but to showcase the light that shines from within it. You were called not to shun the world, but to transform it through divine resonance. This is your purpose. Not someday or when you feel prepared, but right now, as you are. Presently, the world is yearning for healing, truth, and clarity. Systems are crumbling. Identities are in flux. Fear is rising. While many are being swept away by the tumult, you are emerging within it. Not because you are superior, but because you were designed for this. This is why you carry those 3 spiritual marks. They were never intended to be concealed. They are meant to be ignited for such a time as this. This generation doesn't require more followers. It needs activators of light. People like you. Those who resonate with their authentic vibration, create from a space of divine purpose, and vibrate healing even in silence. Do you grasp how rare that is? How profoundly necessary? You're here not merely to escape the world's brokenness, but to illuminate a higher reality from within it. In Romans 8:19, Paul writes, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." That's you. The earth is not awaiting celebrities, politicians, or influencers to remedy its woes. It's waiting for the revelation of the chosen ones, those who understand their identity in God and navigate that path with grace and wisdom. You don't have to save everyone. Your role is simply to show up as your genuine self, fully and unapologetically. Your healing frequency is already impacting your family, your community, your workplace. Whether you express it vocally or not, your thoughts are forming invisible bridges to the future. Your mere presence is calling others upward simply by being aligned with your essence. But here's a reality many shy away from. Being chosen doesn't equate to being celebrated. It signifies being set apart, and at times that can feel lonely. Yet, isolation is not a punishment, it is preparation. Recall Moses, who spent 40 years in the wilderness before leading a nation, or Jesus, who fasted alone in the desert prior to his ministry. Your time spent in solitude is sacred. It is where God fine-tunes your frequency. Embrace those quiet seasons. Don't resent the delays. They are refining you because what you carry must be pure, clear, and consecrated before being entrusted with broader influence. When the moment arrives, when timing aligns with your readiness, God will position you precisely where your presence is needed. You won't have to force doors open or convince others to believe in you. Your frequency will speak, your clarity will create, and your alignment will unlock everything heaven has already written with your name on it. So now, reflect. Are you willing to release who you were, stepping fully into who you are meant to become? Are you prepared to carry these 3 marks, not only with humility but with courage? The world doesn't await perfection, it awaits your presence. Every chosen one encounters a moment in life where mere knowledge ceases to suffice. You feel it, don't you? You've transitioned from seeking signs to becoming the sign, from witnessing miracles to embodying them, from pondering your purpose to realizing you are the vessel of that very purpose, alive, breathing, vibrating, and being guided moment by moment. You aren't just called to comprehend these 3 spiritual marks. You are called to exist as a living manifestation of them. You walk into a room and healing flows effortlessly. You utter a word and someone's heart opens. You sit in silence, and that silence becomes presence. This isn't fantasy, it's reality when a soul is aligned. And let's be clear, this alignment is not an end point, it is a lifestyle. It involves choosing to remain centered in truth, even when emotions surge. It is about listening more keenly to the soft voice within than to the clamor around you. It means treating every moment as holy, because when you're truly aligned, everything becomes sacred. Jesus embodied this way of life. He didn't hurry or chase after anything. He simply moved in harmony with heaven. When he healed, he did so intentionally. When he taught, it reached the depths of hearts. And in his moments of silence, even that stillness held profound revelation. The same Spirit resides inside you. The same power that resurrected him lives within you. Romans 8:11. So, why do you continue to play small? Have you realized that the version of you the world awaits is the one that stops diminishing to fit into comfort? Your mission now isn't to prove your power. It's to become so aligned that power flows through you naturally. You are not here to beg for blessings. You are here to recognize that you yourself are the blessing. When you operate from that space, life doesn't necessarily become easier, but it transforms into a blessed journey. Your struggles metamorphose into initiations. Your solitude becomes sacred. Every breath you take becomes a prayer in action, causing people to perceive you differently. Not because you are louder or richer, but because your spirit radiates something timeless, something they've long since forgotten, something eternal. Now that you've remembered who you are, will you choose to live in accordance with that truth? Will you rise each day not merely as a human seeking meaning, but as a chosen one sent to radiate truth in a world desperate for it? Because this goes beyond what you carry. It concerns what you awaken in others. When you wholly become who you are, there comes a moment along every chosen one's journey when the pursuit of purpose transitions into being its living embodiment. You cease chasing significance and begin to represent it. You stop seeking signs because you realize you are the sign. You become a living message, a frequency of heaven encoded in human form. This awareness alters everything. You start recognizing that your life flows with greater harmony. The things that once bewildered you begin to clarify. The pain, the delays, the betrayals. You now understand them as integral parts of a divine shaping process. God wasn't punishing you, He was preparing you. Just as gold must be refined in fire, your soul was being molded for divine assignment. In 2 Timothy 2:21, Paul writes, "Those who cleanse themselves will be instruments for special purposes, made holy, useful to the master, and prepared to do any good work." That's what you are evolving into, an instrument refined, sacred, and deeply attuned. This is why your mind required purification. This is why your thoughts gained power. This is why your presence began to influence others effortlessly. It is all part of the grand design. But now comes a deeper invitation. Will you allow yourself to be fully available to your divine mission? Not just during convenient times or when feeling inspired, but even when it demands you relinquish comfort, familiarity, and the facade of control. Because when you walk in full surrender, your life becomes miraculously efficient. The right doors will open without coercion. The wrong connections will fall away without turbulence. Your energy transforms into something sacred, and heaven will guard it with precision. You don't chase, you attract, you don't struggle, you synchronize. You don't plead, you believe. This is how a chosen one lives, not always easily, but always meaningfully, not always applauded, but always guided. When you truly exist in this flow, the extraordinary becomes commonplace. You start to experience serenity amidst chaos, clarity amid confusion, and provision where once there was scarcity. Your very being becomes proof of God's continuous work in the world. Consider Noah, who began constructing the ark long before the first drop of rain fell. He wasn't reacting to the world's circumstances. He was responding to a frequency from heaven. People mocked him, yet he wasn't building for their approval. He was preparing for what was forthcoming, and when it came, he was ready. Are you prepared to construct what God is revealing to you, even if no one comprehends it? Are you willing to walk by faith rather than by sight, trusting that your frequency has already paved the way ahead of you? Because you were not chosen to blend into this world, you were selected to recalibrate it. Your life represents the arc, your vision forms the blueprint, and your presence is the testament that heaven still communicates. As we draw this message to a close, take a moment to reflect on this profound truth. You, the chosen ones, carry these 3 significant spiritual marks within you. Regardless of whether you're consciously aware of them or not, they are actively influencing your life, guiding your path, shaping your character, and uncovering the depth of your purpose. Just as Jesus said in Matthew 12:35, "A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in him." What you nurture within will naturally overflow into the world. And in your case, this overflow is nothing short of divine. Life, healing, wisdom, and awakening spring from the very essence of the Creator within you. So, I ask you, what do you hold within? What energy do you send out to those who share your space? What influences are shaping your thoughts, your actions, your very heart? When you align with the divine calling meant for your life, you'll realize that life doesn't just happen to you, it flows through you. You become a vessel of purpose, a conduit for transformation, a beacon of light in a world that is in dire need of illumination. If your heart is resonating with this truth, if something within you is awakening to the call that has been placed upon your life, I invite you to join us at Chosen One Sanctuary. Step deeper into this journey of self-discovery, spiritual growth, and divine awakening. Here, we are not content with mere surface living. We are a community of God's chosen ones, a generation awakening to our highest spiritual potential and striving towards our divine zenith. Together, we create a movement of conscious souls who recognize that we are not merely existing for a purpose, but rather, we embody the purpose itself. We are God's living idea, manifesting through our lives, experiencing the world through our flesh and spirit. Let me share this with you. You are not here to seek out a purpose. You are the purpose. You are God's divine expression in this world. The path you tread is not only your journey, it is a sacred unwrapping of God's will through you. The world is eagerly awaiting the full revelation of what you carry within. So, walk fearlessly with unwavering faith into the vast unknown ahead. Understand that the limitless possibilities you have yearned for are already on their way to you. The doors of destiny are swinging open, and you are destined to walk through them, not by mere chance, but by divine design. Your purpose isn't meant to be chased. It is something that naturally flows to you as you harmonize with God's will. If this message has touched your soul, and you feel called to support the continuation of this journey, I encourage you to consider contributing through Chosen One Sanctuary. Your generosity sustains this space where divine truth, wisdom, and awakening can thrive and extend to more individuals like yourself. Whether you choose to give or not, please know that I am genuinely thankful for your presence and support in every form it takes. I urge you to like, subscribe, and share this uplifting message with anyone who may need to encounter this truth. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I deeply wish to hear how this message has made an impact on your life. Let's keep this meaningful dialogue alive as we collectively rise to claim the fullness of our calling. May God bless you richly. May His favor shine upon you, and may you persist in walking boldly within the light of His love, recognizing that you are the walking testament of His divine purpose in the world. God bless you always.